After viewing this video, you should be able to recognize the application of feature control frames as it relates to surfaces and features of size, calculate form error when the straightness control is applied to a cylindrical feature, and understand the effects of a straightness control as it relates to rule number 1. This drawing shows a cylindrical feature with a straightness control applied to the surface of the object. The tolerance zone is sized at 20 thousandths. Let's look at a list of possible produced sizes for this part and determine the straightness error allowable for each size. Let's first identify the MMC for this external feature of size and understand the effect of rule number 1. When this part is sized at its MMC, we must remember that rule number 1 states that perfect form is required at MMC. Therefore, we can have no straightness error when the part is sized at 530 thousandths. When the part is produced at an actual size of 520 thousandths, we now have some form variation that is allowed, as long as the part stays within an acceptable boundary as defined by the limits of size in rule number 1. If we consider the difference of the actual size and the MMC value, we can determine the amount of variation that is allowed for straightness error. When our part is produced to an actual size of 510 thousandths, we can use the same method to calculate a difference of 20 thou. When our part is produced to a size of 500 thousandths, the difference in our MMC and actual size is 30 thousandths. But because we have a flatness tolerance of 20 thousandths specified, we cannot exceed that value. Therefore, our maximum straightness error is contained at 20 thousandths. The same is true for the other size variations listed. Let's look now at an example of the same part with the straightness applied to a feature of size. Notice how the feature control frame is assigned to the size dimensions. This tells us that the geometric control is controlling the axis of the cylindrical feature of size, not the surface. Looking at the possible produced size of 530 thousandths, you should notice something different when compared to the previous example where we had the geometric control assigned to a surface. When the actual size of the part is measuring at its MMC value, we're allowed a form tolerance even though the part is at its maximum material condition. This is because rule number 1 is overridden when the straightness form control is assigned to a feature of size.